2014 World Junior Ultimate Championships, brought to you by Sky Magazine here in Lecco, Italy. Final round of pool play, Italy versus Australia, with playoff implications at hand. I'm Brian Jones here with Liam Rosen. An exciting game in the boys division. It's a hot day. The wind has picked up a little bit, but Liam, we're glad to be here. And so are the Italians after a big win against Colombia yesterday.
The Italians, Brian, are undefeated going into this tournament. 4-0. Maybe a little bit of a surprise. We saw their game against Colombia yesterday, the most exciting game of the tournament so far. They went up against the Colombians 9-1, then maybe let off the gas a little bit. Colombia came back, was within 2 or 3 down the stretch. There were big crowds on the sidelines, big plays on both sides. Eventually, the Italians stayed patient and gutted out the win 17-14. So they go into this game undefeated, looking for the top spot and seed in the pool.
And a win would give them that top spot going into pre-quarters in the #1 seed. Australia, on the other hand, still is alive to get that #1 seed, but it would take a 13-point victory here over the Italians to ensure. If Australia wins, we'll go to a 3-way tie for the top of the pool with Colombia at 4-1, Australia at 4-1, and Italy at 4-1. Colombia, though, with a 7-point win over the Australians, has the advantage thus far, only losing by 2 to the Italians, so they're +5 in the pool. The Australians need a +13 victory to overcome that deficit and take #1. But however, a win by 6 would give them #2, and that's what the coaches said they were shooting for in this game. And Italy, of course, is going to try to do whatever they can to make sure they're going to get the second or the first spot. When you look at Australia, what are we going to see today?
Well, Australia talked to their coaches before the game. We said, what do you know about Italy? They watched Italy play in one of the games yesterday, did a bit of scouting on their key players. They know who those players are, and they're going to put their best defenders on them. They know some of their strategy. They know that off the pole they like to run a play, set up in a stack, and isolate one cutter. They're going to try to shut that off. They know that they run sort of an arrowhead zone straight up in the middle and force middle on the sidelines. They're going to try to deal with that as well.
And we're about to get started. Australia getting set to receive in the green, and Italy in the white. It's set to go here. Final round of pool play. Lecco, Italy. Beautiful day. Once again, hot and muggy. The wind picked up at times, been mostly still. We've seen a lot of different weather at this tournament, and this is more of what we expected, those hot and muggy days.
Saw Italy warming up before the game, Brian. They got to the fields very early. Over an hour before, they were throwing around. They were playing music. They were getting absolutely pumped up. They had some inspirational speeches and music coming through their boombox. They are very excited for this game.
Italy starts off with a disc. Immediately to the sideline. And a host stack for Italy as we get going. Farina. Comes back to the center. Angela has Balducci back, handling as well. Balducci now looking deep off of the handler movement for the first goal of the game, wide open.
Great offensive flow from Italy. They had Farina running deep, managed to get himself open with a continuation cut. Perfect point for Italy.
Starts out patient, and you've seen that from the teams who have had more success over the course of that tournament. Teams who can dump swing it, be patient with their looks. Italy with a nice start to this one.
See the Australian team walking back to the field. They had a bit of a rush start getting to this game. This is their first game of the day. They were at the players' accommodations waiting for the bus to take them to the fields. Well, the bus left without them. Waited for another bus that also left, so they were forced to shuttle their players in a small car, 4 or 5 at a time, and arrived only 30 minutes before game time.
The huck to Farina on the replay. Australia. Centers the disc. Francois. It's receiver underneath. Back to Francois. And an errant throw back to Italy.
It looks like there's going to be a call on that, Brian. Possibly a foul call.
Looking for Howarth early.
Looks like possibly a push-off. Players talking it out.
Disc will go back.
That's Sam Francois with it, the captain of this team. Brings prior Worlds experience. He played with the Australian juniors team in 2012 in Dublin as well.
Haworth.
Pick called in the stack.
Howarth getting set. Italy still in transition, starting off a side stack, now showing vert. And now they're spread out a bit. Now in plain Jane vertical stack. Looking for the handler up the line.
Not much movement from the cutters from Australia, working with their handlers now.
Gibbs. Howarth looking deep. Rheincastle to the goal line for the Aussies' first goal. Into the end zone for the score. 2-0. 1-1, excuse me.
Australians glad to get that one, but a bit shaky. The Italians were playing very good defense, especially in the stack, not letting Australia's cutters get open. There was one turnover that came back on a foul call. So Australia generally okay, glad to get that point, but still some things to work on.
Australia responds 1-1. Sliding grab on the replay. Now we have Italy out in the field once again, the offensive line. See Angela behind the disc with Balducci.
This has been the best Italy has done in a juniors tournament in a long while. They were 7th place in Dublin in 2012, made quarterfinals in that tournament. And just 10th place at the European Youth Ultimate Championships last year. Many of the same players repeat from that tournament.
Mine. Bonetti. Balducci. Back to Tonetti. O-stack. Looking for options. Now up the line. Looking deep. Too far for the receiver out the back of the end zone.
And it was a nice upline cut from the Italians, but they put a little too much mustard on it, and it floats out of bounds.
Walking the disc up to the line. Vertical stack shown by Team Australia. Code's coming, but now has to go to the reset. Looking for Davis.
There's a pick called in the stack. Actually, it looks like there's an injury call. That's Chris Scammell's going to go off. Scammell will be replaced by Jasper Pentland.
Play restarts. We haven't seen a lot of continuous cutting by the Australians. A lot of basic handler movement. Pereira. Now looking for the handler up the line. Good block from on the field. Tonetti tried for the huck the first time on this possession. Chini. Masserini. You can hear the intensity already building up in this game. Tonetti. Italy marching to the end zone. Marini. Flips it in for the score. 2-1, Italy leads. Here at the 2014 World Juniors Ultimate Championships, Italy against Australia. 2-1 at this current time, Italy leads. Australia receiving the ball. Francois centers the disc. O'Hagan gives it back to Francois on the sideline. Looking in the vertical stack once again for Australia. Francois. Looking deep, Australia going for the second goal. Behind the receiver, doesn't matter. Reels it in. Rheincastle on the goal line. Howarth to the end zone.
And the wind is picked up here, Brian, suddenly, as we see a missed throw from Australia.
Mine to pick up the disc. Italy looking for the break. Play put in, started. Italy with a vertical stack. Gasparini. Marighi. Marighi looking back. Gets it off to Gasparini. Good movement here from the Italians. Short. Looking for that opportunity. Now pass midfield. Marighi and a drop. Call on the play. He's going to stay here with Marighi. Still some discussion going on. They're talking about the timing of an actual pick call, it seems. Disagreement. Gonna stay with the Italians. Play restarts. And a throw to no one. Doesn't matter, back to Australia. Australia lays out for it. Howarth. Balducci putting it deep. Australia looking to tie it. Back of the end zone for the goal. Sharma comes down with it, 2-2.
So after a miscommunication from the Italians, Australia takes advantage. As we noted before in the point, wind has picked up a bit since the start of the game, so both teams will have to adjust for that. This Australian team had the longest journey of any team this juniors championships. Their coaches let us know before the game their total travel time going to Worlds is a collective 700,000 kilometers. You see the layout catch here, Howarth. That'll take you around the equator 17 times. Folks, even to attend training camps within Australia, the last training camp in Sydney, the team traveled 49,000 kilometers. So these players from all over the country.
Goal from Australia. Italy with a chance to take the lead once again. This is centered. A little bit of poaching. And a host stack. Chini. Mine over the top. Unguarded right now. Not sure. Australia has found their matchups. Australia, are they playing with 6 players? 6 players for Australia. Balducci.
What's the rule here, Brian? Can they put another player on?
I have no idea, Liam, but right now Italy just has to be patient because they've got themselves a free point if they want it. Balducci. Mine. And maybe with the zone, you never know what you'll force. Into the end zone drop. Italy, despite playing 7-on-6 in this possession.
And the players asking the coaches, what can they do? Can they take a timeout and put a player on? Calling for the timeout. There will be a timeout on the field. That's one of the strangest situations I've seen in Ultimate, Brian. What happened that Australia was a man down on that point?
I don't know, but we're going to find out what the ruling is after this short break. We're here in Sky Magazine 2014 coverage of the World Junior Ultimate Championships. Back at the 2014 World Junior Ultimate Championships on Sky Magazine, Italy and Australia tied at 2s, and a rare occurrence, something we've never seen before, Liam. I can say for myself, I've never seen this. 6 players on the field for Italy forgetting to put one on, and they're going to be forced to play this point through after the timeout, and Italy going with the 4-person cup with this win picking. Play starts. 4-person cup, we see 4-2-1. And this might just be what the 6-person offense needs. A very difficult choice for the Italians. top to space.
I might not go with the zone here, Brian. I might try to mark man-to-man and put a floater defender out into space and just poach off one of the handlers to lock down any of the throws to the open side.
Scammell gets it off. Dixon. Ross. Australia can't move it through.
Rushing that throw.
Tonetti. Balducci. Mine. Italy should flow through here easily for Rina. Puts it back. Balducci. Up the line. Tonetto. Up the top. For the goal. 3-2. Italy leads.
So Italy does eventually convert with a large advantage. Did turn over one time though, and Australians not able to score with the depleted line. So we talked about the ramifications of that rule during the timeout. We don't think it's in the rules at all. Australia staying with 6 players. Mental error from the coaches, but see if they can recover from it.
3-2, Italy leads. Both offenses having some miscues, a few drops. The wind definitely influencing play so far.
But hammer again here from Italy. Finish off the point.
But it's anybody's game as we go here in the early stages of the first half. Defense getting set for Italy. 4-man cup worked last time, but they were up a man 7-6. So we'll see if they do it again. The wind picking up a little bit, not that much. Francois. Split stack in a zone from Italy. Very poachy. Australia punishes it early. Gets a big gainer through the zone. Francois finding the holes. Alworth gets it around, and now Francois. Straight up mark in the middle of the field. This is the defense we expected out of the Italians. Francois.
Francois, the main center handler, one of the captains of the team. Second time playing Worlds.
Sharma. Francois seems to identify Sharma as his favorite target here. Fakes, goes deep. Rheincastle for the goal. 3-3.
So Australia evens it up there, working patiently through the zone. Faking the efforts of Sam Francois. This Australian team you see has been competing at the World Junior Ultimate Championship since 2004. Best finish ever was 4th place. Generally strong junior program in Australia. They reached the quarterfinals. Playing for seed today as they come in 3-1 with 1 loss to Colombia. Talked to head coach Stephen Wright before the game. He said they started well against the Colombia team. They pushed them hard in the first half. Eventually, though, falling 17-9. Recovered to beat Sweden 17-8. Beat Latvia as well. And had a very close game against Russia with a cap at 10-10. The time went on. They scored the next 3 points to win 13-11, which he credits is a big mental victory to his team.
Well, from Australia back to Italy. Italy roaring down the field. Coutinho. Farina. Italy gets down to the end zone quickly. Offense in a good rhythm. Balducci. Up the line. Mine. Looking for a cutter. Going to be forced to go back around. Now up the line. And back. Castanelli. through to the end zone for the score, 4-3.
Looks like there is going to be a call, though.
Call retracted. Italy stands with the goal, 4-3.
Germany. He attended as a player 2012. He was the assistant coach of this team, and now 2014 the head coach.
4-3, Italy leads. Australia has been matching them point for point, waiting for the first break of this game. Zone again from Italy. Three-person cup. A 3-3-1, kind of turning into a four-person cup. And turnover, Italy's going to have a chance for the first break. Laffy. This is up, goes to the end zone. Gasparini for the goal. Italy breaks 5-3.
Quick conversion from Italy after Australia gives them a short field in the turnover. Australia, though, staying happy, good spirits, and cheering for their boys.
Italy just throwing the kitchen sink at Australia right now, forcing them to do different things, forcing them to think a little bit, and it's resulted in that first break, getting that opportunity. Australia's still in this game. I think at this point it's still anybody's game. Early advantage to Italy. As we go on later today, this game has playoff implications. Australia wins by 6. They're second in the pool. They win by 13. They're number 1 in the pool. Lose this game, they finish third, and we're going on to pre-quarters today at 5:30. It's going to hurt them a little bit. They had a rough day getting here, as you've talked about, Liam, missing their bus from the fields, from the Fort Lecco, as we've been calling it. Getting over here a little bit late for this game.
You see coach of the Italian team, Giacomo Padovani, player with Costa Rica, also played for the Italian Open team at the European Championships of Beach Ultimate.
And we'll see if Australia can respond offensively. Now down a break for the first time. Poe goes out the back.
Looks like it'll be a zone.
And a 1-3-2-1 setup, Liam. In this wind, we haven't seen this be very successful in this tournament, but with the wind slightly picking up just enough, this is, some people would almost call this a thrower's wind in a way where you could throw downwind, but into the wind it's going to make those throws that you normally have confidence in pop up just a little bit. Francois swings the disc, and you can see they're really taking advantage, and Manning's Francois as it leads to another turnover.
The wind just floated that disc too high, and the swing pass out of bounds.
Simonazzi for the goal, tipped, almost caught. Would have been another break for Italy in a 3-point lead.
They will, however, Brian, set up their zone again and try to disrupt the Australian offense.
Play restarts on the sideline. And you can see the Italian defenders turned around looking for the men coming into the zone. A lot of scrambling up the line. Rheincastle.
extremely tough position to be in on that front cone. Looks like it's going to be a strip call. No contest.
Play's going to restart. Gibbs with the disc along the sideline.
Disc check back in.
Looking for an option. Has to go back. Ross,
Run through D.
Italy moving towards the end zone, looking for that extra break. Puts it out to space. Francois is there. Takes care of it. Now looking for the fast break opportunity. Puts it up. Gonna float. Receivers available. Chases it on the backside. Makes the catch. Howarth to the end zone. Huge bid. Doesn't matter. Takes it in. Ross with his reception for the goal.
And that's why you always follow the play, Brian. In this wind, anything can happen. We've seen a couple tip discs so far.
And Italy could have busted the game seemingly wide open if they were just a little bit more cautious.
Australia, though, recovers and works it up against the zone.
Back here at the 2014 World Championships, Tonetti. Angela. Through the zone. Farina. Quickly moving at Italy, responding well to the end zone. 5 seconds flat.
Italy having absolutely zero problems working through Australian zone. They'll be left questioning how that could have gone better.
Italy leads.
Italy looking for their best placement ever at a juniors event. Very auspicious start for them. There's been more of an effort in Italy in the recent years to start kids playing Ultimate at younger and younger ages. Many of these players play for two top juniors teams in Italy. That's CUSP, Red Bull, and Costa Rica Fever from Bologna and Rimini, respectively. One thing that's helped a lot, I was talking to Coach John Terninko before the game, is that these players have formed their own junior teams and they actually play in the second division of the Italian Open Championship. So getting experience against the more elite teams, that's really helped them develop chemistry going into this tournament.
Italy with the pull. Back for Gibbs. We picked up out the back. Australia will walk it up. Zone shown by Italy. Once again, it's produced several turnovers. Play resumes. Francois. Australia has had trouble working it through the zone. And a strip will give it back to Italy.
There's a drop disc from
Italy goes up 7-4.
Violation called, though. Disc will be going all the way back. The throw's coming all the way back. There's a violation called. No one on the field heard it. So there's actually a violation when the disc was tapped in, I believe after the strip.
Mastroianni with the disc. Simonazzi. Up the line, overthrow. Tripped on the upline cut.
Miscommunications have been the story for both teams as Italy smashes into JP23, that's Josh Pereira. This is his second World Junior Ultimate Championships. He's one of the 3 players on the Australian team that return for this event.
Pereira will check the disc in, and we'll get set to go. Francois. Pereira. Up in the air. Now going for the deep shot. Overthrown. Right to the hands of the Italian defender. Marini. Italy quickly moving it up. The fast break offense off of the turnover. Marini. Gasparini. Simonazzi. To the end zone. The Cutters right now just beating, and quick movement for Italy does it. 7-4 they lead.
Incredibly quick movement from Italy. Filippo Simonazzi, really the key player in that fast break offense, catching and throwing sometimes within a second of catching the disc. He was already putting it out again. Australian zone defense unable to catch up.
Italy leads 7-4 in this final pool play game. They've gotten the turnovers against Australia with their zone defense, Liam, and Australia has not been able to hang tough in these last several points.
Here in Lecco, this is the most wind we've seen all day. Both teams employing zone defense. Pretty hot day, although the wind's keeping it cool here in this city, about 50 kilometers north of Milan in Italy. Sky will be here for the next 2.5 weeks, covering the World Junior Ultimate Championships, then the World Ultimate Club Championships. Italy again stays in their zone.
Australians having problems working it through, and you see a new line out there. Francois actually downfield, trying to spread things out a bit and bust up this Italy zone. High pass, works out. Oworth to the end zone, flips it high, indeed by Italy. Too much flair on that pass.
And that looked so good for Australia. They got the high release over the cup. They had busted the offense open, but weren't able to stay patient in the red zone as Italy hawks deep right away.
Near the end zone. Gasparini.
It looks like a travel was called on Cherin, the player that caught that huck. Push-off was called. So offensive foul.
Play restarts. Gasparini to the end zone. Layout for the score. 8-4. Italy leads.
Making it look spectacular is Leonardo Cherin. And Australians now with some answers if they want to stay in this game. Italy has brought the intensity. They were getting pumped up before the game. Listen to some music. This is how they play, fiery with intensity. The Italian style.
It's working out for them. Really just forcing the Australians to think a little bit. There was an execution error on the end line. You're wide open and you hang a pass. There's no reason to do so. You can hit the wide open person, come around for the score, and it's 8-4 Italy. Australia's got to be careful. This game could get away from them.
This is Australia's first time in this tournament on the showcase pitch. Coach Wright telling his players before the game, this should not change how you play. Don't worry about the cameras. Don't try to do anything spectacular. Just play how we normally play.
Need a little bit of boost of confidence. They worked it to the end zone last time. Can they do it again? They're going towards a little bit of a headwind. You can see in the background, the flags at the top of the bleachers are not waving at this point in time, but you can feel it on the ground level. It's the case of swirling winds, popping those discs up, making it the simple throws just a little bit harder to go with. Davis to Francois, and more zone. Finds Dixon. Gibbs gets it off. Australia looking hammer. Now over the top.
Sean Davis is doing a fantastic job working in this cup. Is that handler on the far side of your screen? Moving the disc fast, breaking it open. But overthrow and a drop.
Davis puts it out just too far. And Italy couldn't run down too far. Intended receiver. Origi. Chasing it. Davis with a chance for redemption.
Italy's now going to set up the zone again. Davis looking for the break. Finally gets a strip.
Trying to deal with the physicality on the mark. Uncontested foul and we begin. Davis over the top. Saves the day.
Australia making it hard for themselves with these throws.
Dixon.
You have to lay out to save the disc enough times. Eventually it's not going to go in your favor.
Davis. Back to Australia in the end zone. Trying to move it around. They have not had great progress. Now get it through. Sharma. And throwaway right to Italy once again.
Throws right into Mastroianni, who's poaching, but another layout D from Australia right away.
Gibbs gets it off. Going deep. Goes back to Italy once again.
And Australia would do with a little more patience here. I understand trying to hook because they're not trying to get out of the zone, but this is the second time they've gone deep right away with no one there.
Mastroianni up the line. Travel called on the play. It's going back.
Wind coming away from the camera on your screen. It's a crosswind.
Rosa. Looking for an option, now forced to go back.
Very close mark from the Australians.
Mastroianni. Marini. Up the sideline. Not much space to work with. Guarini.
Great job by the Italians, though, of swinging it off that line and opening up the field.
One shot to go till half. It would be a 5-point lead up the line. One more.
Australians look tired as Mastroianni is getting it done.
This is it for the goal, and that will be half. 9-5, the Italians lead.
It's actually 9-4, I believe. Italy taking half.
And later on, we're going to take a short break here. We'll be back with an interview with Italy's head coach. This is our coverage on Sky Magazine of the 2014 World Junior Ultimate Championships.
Episode 1 of Ultimate Globetrotter. We're here on Boracay Island in the Philippines, home of the Beach Ultimate Kings of Asia, the fierce and speedy Boracay Dragons. Running on the sand's going to get easier, but it doesn't. So we are on our way to check out some cockfighting.
It's not for the faint of heart.
Boracay Open has always been the turf of the Dragons.
Most of the players are based here in the island. It's second nature to them to run on the beach.
When we train almost every day.
High knees in the water, swimming, sprinting on the beach. Do this after every single practice.
You know, it's what they do. They're beach ultimate players.
Movement is like a 1 and 2.
The only thing we ask from them is to train. Train hard and play hard.
Younger boy.
You have to think that this is already the championship game.
You have to aggressively send your kite back to 12, pull the bar.
We're here at Mandala Spa and Villas, about to receive a world-class massage.
It's not just about the game, it's also about our lifestyle here in the island.
Dragons are the beach kings of Asia and maybe the world soon. It's now time also for us to share to the world what we know about Beach Ultimate.
John, we're going to go back first of all to yesterday. Your team had a very exciting game against Colombia, opened up a big lead, withstood a very strong comeback from Colombia. What did you see from your team in that game?
Actually, I think the first half was all about our intensity. We gave a lot of energy, and actually we paid for that in the second half. I mean, we knew Colombia was going to come back. They're a great team, and they definitely showed it, but we suffered ourselves in the second half, and yeah, it was a great game for us and for them as well.
You've got a little bit of a lead right now. How are you guys playing so far?
Okay. We are throwing the disc away too much when we have it on offense, getting the turnovers. If we clean it up, I think we'll do all right.
And anything else you want to emphasize to your team that they need to do better in the second half?
Keep possession of the disc. That's all it is for us right now. It's just keep possession of the disc.
All right. Thanks, John. We'll be back with the second half of Italy against Australia in a couple minutes.
boys division. Italy facing off against Australia. Italy building a 9-4 lead on zone defense so far. Liam, though, Australians might not be playing all of their starters as many minutes as they need to win this game.
Yeah, it looks like, looking down the roster, we've seen some big names that haven't yet played in this game. Ashley Evans hasn't been in. He's one of the stars of the team. Played at juniors in 2012 and at World Under-23 Nationals, or World Under-23 Championships, that is in Toronto. I think perhaps Australia's recognized that this game may not be as important. As you mentioned before the game, they would have had to win by 6 to take second in the pool, and by 13 to take first.
Italy in a commanding position to take first in this pool. A dramatic win over Colombia, 17-15 yesterday. Move on. Later on today, we'll have women's power pool game here in Sky Magazine in Lecco, Italy. Bit of a breeze on the field level, not so much higher up. Means the Hucks are still going to fly today.
And I think that's a good decision by Australia to rest from the get-go. They could have tried to come out guns blaring and try to see if they could build up that 6-point lead, but they did realize that this is a very strong Italian team that's come out to this tournament. And the advantage that the other teams have on them, this is Australia's first game of the day, so other teams played this morning and now have a break before their pre-quarters matchup. Australia will be going right into pre-quarters, so giving those top stars some rest is key for them.
About to get set here in the second half. Australia will receive the pole. And we'll be set to go here on Sky Magazine. Liam Rosen with Brian Jones.
Send us some tweets if you're watching from Italy or Australia. You can find me at Sky_Liam Rosen and Brian at no_look_Scuber.
Play gets going right away. Francois up the line, looking deep, open in the end zone. Gonna get there. Taylor toes the line, is in for the score. Yes, it is in. Australia starts the half off right, 9-5, down by 4.
So a very easy huck from Australia. There is actually being called out, I believe. So Italy will have possession of it now.
Italy going the other way. Mastroianni. Laffey. Up the line, caught. Layout grab.
Save from Mastroianni.
Gasparini sends it under. This Italy offense has been in a great rhythm in this tournament, in a great rhythm in this first half. Let's see if it can continue. Marini. Mastroianni up the line, floating. Defended by Australia, gets it back.
That's number 7. It's Gibbs.
Going deep, over the top, and Italy gets it back on defense. Along the sideline, up the line. Gasparini sends it deep for Italy. Caught for the goal. Italy continues their run, 10-4.
So Italy continuing to roll with Australia resting some of their starters. They almost had the huck in the first 3 seconds to get the first point back after half, but unable to complete it.
Now with a 6-point lead, if Australia is truly indeed resting their starters, Liam, this may be not a close game for the rest of it. Italy's been utilizing the zone defense to create the turnovers.
So Australia working again against another zone from Italy. Looks like there's an injury on the field. This is not what Australia needs now in a game that may be less relevant. It looks like a shin or an ankle.
Exactly what you don't want, like you said, Liam. At this point, if you're resting your starters, you're not playing to the fullest to win this game.
So Australia's trainer will come over and take a look at the injured player.
Play restarts, and Italy switches to man defense. Haworth. Scamilleri. Back for Francois, has the pace up the line. Fakes the huck, the give and go. Dixon dishes, and a drop. Italy continues their run. Another chance to add one here.
JP 23 unable to get both hands on that one. Heads of state, white player. It's his second juniors championship as Italy turfs a disc.
Back to Australia. An opportunity to get one on the board in the second half. Puts it deep to the end zone, floating. Tipped. Foul call on the play. Discussion continues on here over a foul call within the stack.
There's a hospital pass. A couple players went up for that one, and that'll be sent back to JP23.
Herrera with the disc, with Francois back as his dump. Francois starts up the line. No options. This Italian defense putting a lot of pressure. Low throw, caught for the goal. Australia gets on the board to start the second half.
It's Chris Scammell laying out to save that one.
Scammell gets low, and that's important. Australia needed a play at this point in time, Liam. This is where you get into the mental dynamic of whether or not you want to rest your starters, because you have to feel good about that strategy, and everybody has to know it, because it's still a loss on the field, and these are competitive players who came halfway across the world. As you talked about, was it 700,000 total miles this team traveled? You go around the equator 17 times for that, and you come here and you're going ahead and taking one of your games not as seriously as you normally would.
It's tough, but it's tournament strategy, and I think gaming tournament strategy is something that's underrated among many teams. Teams are too prideful to do it, and it ends up costing them in the long run. I'm personally all for it. As long as the whole team buys in, as long as they know that's going on, and they're not going to come into the next game dismotivated because of it.
Australia's going to seek some shade and a timeout, and we're going to do so ourselves here at Sky Magazine 2014 World Junior Ultimate Championships. 2014 World Junior Ultimate Championships. Italy about to receive, up 10-5, second half action. Last pool play game in the boys division. Number of undefeated teams trying to claim the top spot in the pool. Italy up by 5, 7 points away from winning the pool. Going through the zone, and Australia throwing their own 1-3-2-1. We have not yet seen how Italy handles this. Contini to the sideline. Angela. And for the inside break. And Italy just sliding through this zone. Hammer for the goal. Italy no problem, 11-5.
Zone, Brian, might be another way for Australians to save some legs going into the pre-quarters game. You play zone, you don't run as much.
Italy in total command of this game. And they'll get themselves a crossover matchup. Pool winners get to play it out for seeding instead of going on to pre-quarters and having to play an elimination game. An exciting round next up.
Most likely, Australia will be facing France in the pre-quarters game, so they'll likely be doing a bit of scouting and reading up on them. Coach Wright calling for a split stack, the Australian offense.
Italy set the pole. Australia without an answer. And Australia's going to call an offsides on Italy.
The first offsides call we've seen in the tournament so far.
Going to be a repull for Italy. Well, Liam, we've seen a point where Australia put 6 in the line, and now we've seen a point where Italy tried to put 8 on the line. And we're getting Australia calls offsides.
It's a misaligned game here at the Junior Ultimate Championships.
Francois centers the disc. Split stack, as you said, Liam. Right away, going deep.
Pereira looks instantly.
Going to the end zone. Too far. Going to hit the sky banner.
Nearly hits the Australian fans and spectators taking up shade near our banner.
Simonazzi picking up the disc in an angled, almost near side stack. 5 cutters downfield. A lot of four-side area to work with. Instead, they go break immediately. Looking for the huck. Out in front. Chases it down. Easy dish. And a sliding D. Australia, what hustle to come all the way back.
Looked like a sure score as Italy ran that disc down. But Jake Taylor came up with the D. Jake, also a talented Aussie Rules football player. He's got a scholarship for that. Plays at a very high level.
Francois puts a huck out of bounds. It's going to be great field position for Italy to start off this possession. As they walk it in, and slowly we'll get there. Italy will have tons of time to set the stack.
Francois laughing, shaking his head after that
go for the inside break, too low.
He rushed it. He was trying to possibly look cool for the camera.
Both teams' first time under Sky Magazine coverage. Quick dish through the cup, and a block from behind. No foul called.
Very surprised that's not a foul. There was big contact on Taylor, although I'm sure he's used to contact, having played Aussie rules football.
Simonazzi bobbles it, gets it back. And an arcing throw to the back of the end zone. Receiver wide open, 12-5, all Italy.
There'll be a timeout called by Australia as they'll talk things over.
Big thanks to the only photographer, the official photographer of the World Junior Ultimate Championships, Ultiphotos. Be sure to check them out, ultiphotos.com. And we'll be right back here in Sky Magazine. Back at the 2014 World Junior Ultimate Championships in the boys division, Italy taking a 12-5 lead over Australia. Australia deciding to rest some of their starters. Just a conversation we had on the break, Liam, about Jake Taylor, who actually doesn't know how to call fouls yet, hasn't played too much Ultimate.
Yeah, we're talking with Matt Hill, who's standing near a commentator's bench. He's the former coach of the Australian juniors team. And he told us a little about Jake. Jake, as I mentioned before, plays Australian rules football at a very high level, and actually has a scholarship to play that sport, and really hasn't played that much Ultimate, but came out to the trials and impressed the coaches with his athleticism. He's actually been suffering an ankle injury, so he's been out for most of Australians' games. These are the first couple points he's played back. So used to a different level of contact, certainly from his other sport.
Play restarts, and Australia receives the pull. Swing, and we see a vertical stack, handler movement, and a zone from Italy. It's worked very well and built this 12-5 lead. Liam, it was close early until they threw that zone, and we've just seen overthrows exactly like this one.
Some questionable decisions as that blade rolls right out of bounds.
Simonazzi dishes it to the backfield. Keeps it moving. Laffy gets it off. Simonazzi running the offense for the Italians to the end zone. High. Makes the grab. Was he in? Called out by the Australians.
And that's a hard call. He did look in from my perspective, but
WJUC.
Australian saying he might have stepped on the line as he tried to save the disc.
It's going to go back, contested call. Laffy, quick movement from the Italians, presents an opportunity.
Yeah, before that throw went off, the Italians looked great. Their disc movement is very impressive against this Australian zone.
Mastroianni fits it in for the goal, 13-5. Italy won't stop.
So the Italians, a surprise, possibly semifinals contender in this tournament. As we mentioned before, their results on the European and world's level have not been as promising. They finished a respectable 7th place at Dublin, 2012 World Championships. But there's been a concerted effort in Italy to start kids younger and younger, and this team is very athletic, they're very fiery. They have big bids, very quick throws, and an excellent coaching staff. They've been practicing with the team. They hold about one practice a month. About past 5 or 6 months, they've played preparation games against club teams in Italy, and they have a very large roster as well, 23 on the roster, and they're playing fairly strict offense and defensive lines with a couple of inceptions.
And they're getting set to pull once again. Center Francois from Davis. Give and go. And more zone from Italy. More of a poach. In general, trying to sag off in the lanes. Australia has not been able to make multiple consecutive passes down the field. Too many times over the top. Open receiver. Has time. Misread. Gasparini. To the end zone. Now back. The Italians have been fine with dump swinging. And a miscue gives it back to the Australians. Francois puts it up. Going to hang. Tipped in the air by the Italian defender.
3 defenders there, but a foul will be called. That's Sean Davis, South Australian native. One of the vice captains of the team. Claiming that his verticality was impinged, maybe hit in the hip when he was going up.
Look to this, the Italian defender had space. At this point, after discussion has ensued for this long, it's got to be a contested call.
Yeah, at this point in the game, down 13-5, it may be better to just let the other player contest.
Still going on.
Coach Wright saying just send it back.
Back to Francois. Francois. Ryan Castle has been the biggest playmaker for this Australian squad. Really kept them in it early, but the zone has limited his effectiveness. Davis. Francois. Back to Davis. Davis with space. To the break side. Quick flip. Into the end zone for the goal. Australia gets on the board. 13-6. The Italians still lead.
Australia saves it. Lolan Murphy with that goal. Coach's pick is having the longest arms on the team. Reels it in.
tune in to all our coverage on skymagazine.com, our features, including you can check out one of our Sky members, Elliot Trotter, the Globetrotter, going around the world. Episode 1, Boracay Dragons in the Philippines. Globetrotter.tv.
So Coach Wright will have some words with the team. We see this replay from the Australians. Murphy with the goal. The wind, by the way, picking up here slightly. Probably at about 10, maybe 12 kilometers per hour.
Balducci. And a side stack flood play. Tonetti. Looking for the receiver out in front. Has to go to the ground to make the catch. It's going to be an injury on the play.
I'm not 100% sure if there was contact on that layout. It was a bit of a late layout from Keegan Ross. It looks like the Italian player's okay.
Play restarts. Mine. Tonetti. Sliding grab around the sideline. Tonetti. Again. The main cog in this offensive line. Tonetti gets it back, running the give and go. Call downfield. Tonetti. Out to space to Mine. Looking for Balducci. Calling the play.
Mine comes from a large Ultimate family from Fano. He's one of the members of the mixed team Crockley, which has seen great success in the European Ultimate Club finals. Ultimate fans may recognize his brother Bruno, who did everything for the Italian team at the Under-23 Championships.
Balducci to the end zone. Caught. Sliding grab for the goal. 14-6. Italy 3 points away from winning their pool.
Marco Massarini toes the line. Massarini will be playing as well for CUS Bologna at the World Ultimate Club Championship. So 5 players on this Italian juniors team, also with representation with their local club teams.
Australia on the offensive side. Resting their starters in this game. They'll finish 3rd in the pool behind Colombia. USA and Canada both undefeated still. Have crossovers later on today. It'll actually be USA and Canada for seeding at 5:30.
Looks like another offsides call, Brian.
This time might be just a legitimate offsides call. Don't see 8 players on the field. And we'll have a repoll.
And I have to admit, this is the first time outside of the semi-professional leagues that I've seen 2 offsides calls in one game.
Play resumes. Centers to Francois. And a 3-3-1 turning into a 4-person cup. Really close in, these Italian defenders. And they want to make Australia Over the top, they did so successfully, bombing it. Shawarma back deep. Defender for Italy gets the block.
I just want to point out that thumber on the last throw. You're talking about going over the cup. That was probably the cheekiest throw I've seen in this entire tournament. That was fantastic.
Italy in a vertical stack, heading the other way.
Violation called.
Calling, I believe, a handoff on the play. Anyways, play resumes. Going to be in Italy's hands. And striking deep immediately. They keep on rolling, 15-6.
Forehand huck, looking like it was going to die out a bit, but Italy able to bring it down. Riccardo Rossi with the goal.
Timeout on the field. Italy leads 15-6 on Sky Magazine's coverage of the 2014 World Juniors Ultimate Championships. Back at the World Junior Ultimate Championships in the boys division, Italy leads 15-6. Brian Jones here with Liam Rosen. And things have calmed down a bit in this game. So we're nearing the end. Italy leading, going to win the pool. Australia going to take third.
I think both teams have realized now that the game is pretty much over. Started out quite intense in the first half with both teams trading. There was a lot of sideline talk. And teams still staying active, but looking a bit more relaxed, perhaps already thinking about that pre-quarters game.
Francois going deep. Italy keeps hustling, gets the block. Finds mine. Big swing and a huck. Looking for Arena.
And that's number 1 with the disc, Cameron Gibbs.
Puts it deep. Ross on the goal line. Francois. Looks back. Francois. Now to the goal line, inside break, in for the score, 15-7.
And I do want to relate one story about Cameron Gibbs. That's number 1 with the cap on the right side of your screen. That Coach Wright told that really represents the spirit of this team. Cameron has an older sister that played for Australia at the World Ultimate Club Championships in 2008. He was so determined to get to the Junior Championships that he actually went in 2010 as a water boy. He had water boy logo on his shirt, and many people thought that he would be able to make the team in 2012. Unfortunately, he didn't quite make the cut, and Coach was saying that I think in his position, many other players, after having followed that dream for so long, would give up at that point, but he didn't. He kept fighting, and he tried out for the team again in 2014, battling a knee injury and concerned that maybe he wouldn't be able to show his best game, but the coaches recognized his dedication to the team and realized that he's improved as a player. He's been playing Ultimate for 7 years, and he was selected for this team, and I think this really represents what the Australian team is all about.
Tonetti gets it to Mine. Call on the play, physical marking from Australia. Mine to the break side. Cheney back of the end zone, wide open. 16-7.
Big backhand break for Italy. Just 1 point away from closing out the game.
Italy 1 point away from taking this game and thus winning the pool. They'll play in a crossover game. Australia looks like they'll probably play France in pre-quarters, finishing 3rd in their own pool.
And I think at this point, with the pools already decided, these are games where you often see teams resting their starters, focusing on the next game. These games aren't as important unless there's something like a tiebreaker and you're playing for seeding. With pre-quarters already starting the end of today, that's a knockout round where it all really matters. Pool plays just for seeding, nothing matters until the elimination rounds.
This may be it. Simonazzi picks it up for Italy after the overthrow. Marini. Simonazzi. Simonazzi normally involved on the give-go. Rosa. It's back, finds Marini. Now back. Simonazzi. To the break side, to the end zone. Up for the score and the win. Italy takes it.
17-7 final score.
Looks like this one's coming back, actually. Call on the play. Play restarts. Still to the end zone. Italy takes it. Wins 17-7 over Australia.
It was a game, Brian, that started out
Skies correspondent Adam Lerman. But first, a word from our sponsors, 5 Ultimate.
Mail time, everyone. Vero, Kip, PCAP, Carl. Ooh, another one for Vero. Carl again, Sophia, Exton, Ningo, and one for accounting.
Who's your question?
I'm here with Australia coach Steve Wright. So Steve, coming into this game, it would have taken a very special effort for you to move out of the pre-quarters and to win the pool. How did that affect the way you approach this game?
Look, yeah, I spent a bit of time this morning sitting down with the Wooftooth people here to make sure that there was nothing we were missing in terms of the tiebreaker rules. Essentially, the situation was that we would have had to win by a significant amount to change our position in the pool. So we didn't go into this game to lose by any means. We saw it more as an opportunity to have a look at a couple of different things, rest a couple of injured players if they needed it, and really just prepare ourselves for the game against France this afternoon.
So looking forward to that game against France in a couple hours.
Yeah.
What do you know about France? What do you expect from them?
Look, they were playing a fantastic game against Germany. We are all watching over there the Poland game against Taipei, and then also the French and Germany game because they are potential opponents. Looks like they have a pretty strong zone, but we were learning from Germany's adjustments there, and we think that we have a good strategy to address that. On man, like playing against man D, we back our receivers every time. We back our handlers to break the force every time, so we're not too concerned about their man D at all.
What do you think it's going to take for you to beat them and move on to the quarterfinals?
Look, I think probably consistency from us is the key. We've had some games, such as against Sweden, where we just ran out the game, ended up with a really good result. We've had other games like against Latvia where we were up 11-4 and then came back and it was 17-15. So for us, it's about consistency, managing those niggles that I talked about, and apart from that, I think that we're in with a really good shot of taking them right to the end of the game, and I think that we're a really good chance of beating them.
Okay, thanks, Steve. Let's go back to Liam and Brian to wrap things up.
Italy takes it 17-7 over Team Australia, wins the pool. Thanks for Liam Rosen. I'm Brian Jones here, Sky Magazine. 2014 World Junior Ultimate Championships